Uncertainty is just a fundamental part of any environmental change. Now for its relationship with migration. So generally, it's thought of that environmental change, and global environmental change in particular, impacts migration indirectly. People don't move because it's raining more heavily or less, except in potential humanitarian disasters from things like tropical storms and hurricanes. But generally it's indirect. I was looking like Trump there for a second. Environmental change, generally thought of as it can increase migration and it can decrease migration. And we've seen evidence of this. There's a concept in environmental migration which is nice but slightly flawed, which is of trapped populations, where people can't move because the environmental change has meant they've got less assets to move. Now, I find that one quite troubling, because are you trapped just because you want to move? Maybe you're trapped because you don't even know that moving could be a good idea. So environmental change can increase or decrease. Proactive migration has been put forward. There's been a lot of effort in pushing forward that as a form of adaptation, which to me is slightly positive, because you're saying you're treating people as not just vulnerable, but as proactive agents. Although there's a lot of uncosted, hidden costs in migrating, which we all know about further down the line, to do with integration and return migrants. So whether it is actually an adaptation, I think there's still a question about that. To me, it's an adaptation if you want to prevent mass flows of migrants, which it seems to me that a lot of the destination countries in those situations don't like. Of course, the relationship between any environment change and migration or mobility is highly contextual. It varies from country to country, from region to region, from household to household, and probably from person to person. And overall, I think Peter mentioned this at the beginning, it is complex. Now, complex has a meaning in systems, which basically relates to its feedbacks and it not being predicted. So, how do you work with something that is not predicted? Well, in climate change adaptation, so I work with a lot of governments in Africa on adaptation, we basically say don't try and reduce the uncertainty, because you can't. It's intractable. It's an intractable challenge. You have to change the way in which you look at the problem. And part of that is choosing principles. In climate adaptation, I think 3 of the principles are flexible, so you can change as you go along. Robust, so it can change to different outcomes, and low regrets. That's partly in migration. There's of course a humanitarian issue, and it's not just about the movement of people, it's about people who are unable to move. So what is the solution? The solution is to look at pathways. So in the game, we're going to look what it would be like to be a Syrian villager and how you might respond to it. So the idea with pathways is to explore different rules about how you might operate. But again, I would push to the flexible, robust and low regrets.